Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Today I'm doing an arm and leg waxing tutorial for full hair growth. I did let my leg hair grow out a lot so that this video could be a little bit more helpful and in-depth for you guys. This waxing tutorial will be helpful to anyone that's interested in learning how to wax. If you want to learn waxing, if you're already licensed, if you're already an esthetician and you're waxing, this will be more of an in-depth tutorial. I did do a previous video. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure you go check that out, but that was me more so explaining like all of the basics, like having your products, what you need, things like that. So this video is more of me just showing you guys my actual method and routine. I am going to show you guys from start to finish my full waxing routine, all of the steps that I like to use. And I am a licensed esthetician, so everything that I'm going to be telling you guys is my professional opinion, things I've learned from school, things I've learned just from experience with waxing. Your wax should take you about 30 minutes to heat up. If it's heating up in like 5 to 10 minutes, you're heating it up way too fast. I would recommend just setting your wax pot on low and then letting it just heat up for 30 minutes. After about 10 to 15 minutes, I went back in to check on it and continue to mix it. You want to make sure that it's really nice and smooth. And you want just like a nice medium consistency. If your wax is really runny, that means it's too hot. I'm using Mermaid Wax. Now this is a Pro Wax, which means it dries really fast. And it is okay to use wax from a previous session, but you do still want to make sure that you clean your wax pot out. Your very first step should always be to apply your cleanser. Whatever your cleanser is that you like to use before waxing, you never want to apply wax on the skin without applying your cleanser first. Just do a quick check on your wrist, on your arm, somewhere to make sure that the wax isn't too hot. I never just start waxing. I always make sure that I go in and do a temperature check, whether it's on myself or if I'm waxing someone else. And I just went back in and did a quick second little temperature check patch just to show you guys how I'm applying the wax. You want to let the wax drip down, push it through, and then create a tab so that it's easy for you to just rip off the wax. Creating the tab is me just creating a thicker part at the bottom because it's so painful when you have to like just keep going back in and trying to rip off the little ends. Like no, you need that end to be thicker so it's easy for you to just grab it and rip it off and all in one pull. That's going to be the least painful. If you can rip off your whole wax strip in one strip, that's really what you want. I'm going back in and letting my wax drip down just a little bit to create like some thickness at the top. That way it's easier for me to just push it through, create my tab, and then go in for removal. A part of waxing the arm is also to do the fingers, so you definitely want to make sure that you get the fingers after you do your forearm. And I've tried a lot of different waxes, but this one is really good for all skin types. Even if you have sensitive skin, I don't get a lot of ingrown hairs or problems after I wax. But they do also have retail wax, so for anyone that is just starting out, you definitely can grab that wax and it's much easier to use. It doesn't dry as fast, so if you apply a little too much or to an area where you don't really want to take as much hair away, you can wipe it off. Now this wax dries really fast. Like this is probably the fastest drying wax I've ever had. So once I apply it to the skin, I can literally just go in and take it right off. But depending on the wax that you have, you might have to wait about 10 to 30 seconds and then go in and remove it. So I'm going to go in and finish my other arm as well. I'm going to clean it. Once again, like I said, you guys, it's so important to make sure that you cleanse your skin. There can be serious issues if you get an infection or cross-contamination. Like, you just don't want any of those problems. So to avoid that, just make sure you cleanse your skin really good. You guys will see me making a fist and then pulling the wax from the opposite area. So whichever way you apply your wax, you want to remove the opposite way. I'm going down, so I'm going to go in and pull from the bottom up. And make sure that you're washing your hands before you even start. You definitely want to use gloves if you're working on someone else. Even sometimes when I work on myself, I use gloves. But definitely make sure that you're always washing your hands. You can also keep some hand sanitizer throughout the service. I completed my arm, so once I'm done, I do go back in with some cleanser and then also an oil. This oil just helps to remove any excess wax that you may have left behind. So if you guys are waxing and you're seeing that you have a lot of wax still left on your skin afterwards, also make sure that you're applying powder because you don't want the skin to be wet before you apply your wax. For my legs, I do like to do longer strips just to get it over with faster because it's a lot more area to cover. So I just like to go from like right under the knee all the way down to my ankle. And make sure you're also doing your feet. Doing the feet is also a part of waxing your legs. From the knee down with the foot included, that would be considered a half leg. And it's also really important to remember that you cannot wax over the same area twice if you're going in the same direction. So if I'm waxing from my kneecap down, but then after that I'm coming from the ankle up. So that's the only way you can go over the same area twice is if you go in the opposite direction. And then after those 2 times, anything you have left, if you have any hair left behind, you have to tweeze it. You never want to wax the same area 3 times, even if you're going in different directions. Holding the skin taut is also a really important part of the service because you don't want to damage the skin. Moving on to my next leg, I use my cleanser, use my powder, and now I'm going in and creating my strips again and making that tab at the end so that it's easy for me to grab. You guys have seen me do this at this point, so now I'm just going in and just kind of finishing my leg as I usually would. And I do about 2 to 3 strips at a time. So after I completed all of my wax strips that's going down vertically from the top to the bottom, I'll check back and see if there's any hair left behind, and then that's when I do a second round of going from my ankle upward. So for my legs, it's really like I'm doing 2 strips in each section, one going down and then one coming back up. And once you do that, you should be completed. I love how my legs and arms always just look super smooth after waxing. If you guys thought this video was helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let me know what else you guys would like to see as far as esthetician videos. I have a lot of skincare routines and product videos coming up soon. All of the products that I use in this video will also be listed in the description box. If you have any other questions about waxing or anything that's esthetician or skincare related, you can always DM me at Tay Franklin, and I'll definitely answer any questions that you guys have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe for new videos every Thursday and Sunday.